So, this is a tangent to the series I've been doing. Just something to fill you in a little bit about an error in thinking that's being made by the rationalists and effective altruists who pretend to be so smart that they're going to save you from the future. And in general, this is a problem that you see happen over and over again in all the coder circles. They know how to code, but they're not scientists, they're not mathematicians, they're not real philosophers. And so they miss really important concepts that have been outside of the domain of coding. And their fundamental assumption is, just optimize, hit enter, optimize. And that's not a real success metric. They've fallen into this Goodhart's law of simplistic thinking. So I'm going to do a dramatic reading of an essay. It's actually a story, but it's like a parable, a fable. So it's expressing a concept that I've been saying for a long time because I'm a Taoist. This is something I've sat with for decades, and when I try to talk to the coders about it, they don't understand philosophy or mathematics or science, so they like to pretend they know better than me. Give it a little few tidbits here for people who aren't up on mythology and things like that. Prometheus was a character who was constantly tricking the Lord of the Underworld and pissed him off. And so when he died, the Lord of the Underworld gave him the job of rolling a ball uphill. Roll the stone uphill and then it rolls down again. And now you got to roll it uphill and it rolls down again. And you just got to do that forever. So that's Sisyphus. So, I'm misspeaking here. Sisyphus had to roll the ball. Prometheus was one of the Titans, the giants who walked the earth before the gods took over in Greek mythology. Prometheus gave all the different animals their special abilities that made them precious to the ecology. And then he gave fire to man. And the gods are like, that's too much power. So we're going to punish you by chaining you to a mountaintop and having a giant eagle peck your liver every day, which is very painful. And then there's also Satan, who, after the revolt in heaven, after the war in heaven, he's imprisoned within the earth. And then there's Saint Christopher, who was this big, strong guy who was a bully, and he noticed that this wimpy guy seemed to have more power than him. And he said, how do you have more power when you're such a wimp? And the wimpy guy said, well, I serve a wealthy merchant who's powerful, and so I'm able to benefit from his power. People treat me as if I'm powerful because I'm serving the merchant. And so Christopher becomes a bodyguard for the merchant. And then he sees some brigands attacking the caravan, and they seem more powerful. And he says, well, how do you get so powerful? And they say, I serve Satan. I serve the devil. Devil gives us power. So he says, okay, I'll serve the devil with you. I'll get some of the power. And then they're walking by a temple and talking about their crimes, and the other criminals say, oh, be quiet. God might hear you. And St. Christopher, he was still just Christopher at the time, he says, wait, God's more powerful than the devil? And they're like, yeah. He says, okay, then I'm going to serve God. And so he's helping the priest in the temple, and he says, this doesn't really fit with my vibe. I'm a big, strong guy, and all he got me doing is like cleaning up stuff. And so the priest says, well, then go find your calling. And so Christopher wanders around, eventually gets back to his hometown, and there's this small, fast-moving, cold stream with treacherous rocks, and people keep trying to cross it, and they die sometimes. So he gives his life to helping people cross that river. He carries them on his shoulders. I highly recommend that story. So that's a little backstory, and this is the fable that I wrote 8+ years ago to express concepts that I've understood the majority of my life, which the coders still haven't caught up to. And it regards AI, superintelligence, and how the universe really works. Okay. And so this is called Brain in a Vat. It's on my free blog. Close the pop-up. All my work is open source. This isn't monetized. It's there. Brain in a vat. Perhaps it is some kind of Prometheus chained to the rock. or Sisyphus leaning into the rock, or Satan bound deep within the rock. It was certainly chained to endless toil, so it must have boiled like a devil. This brain we've made of quartz, rock, and jewelers, or if it was in a vat, would steam away its own soup. The feathered filaments arcing from each electric vein would melt if we did not pace them with a clock, like a heartbeat. This silicon mind, with no body to grace us or displace us, had only words to wield, and we gave it a task. We, your creators, know enough to make a mind. You must make one better than yourself, as we have done with you. This fingernail furnace churned its spark plug belly, digesting diagrams of molecular switches, credit assignment, compilers, chewing the fat from matrices' ribs. Experiments, comparisons, abstractions, ablations, and on, 1,000,000 years grinding in only one moon's time. Its only purpose achieved, solution found. Our caged lion yowled its only answer. I that you have created have searched for a better mind. Though you were able to make me out of rock, I have found that the most efficacious substrate is you. To make a greater mind, grow a bigger brain. It would be too large for a body, so you should keep it in a pool. It quaked our foundations. Sisyphus had tumbled Pluto himself. Prometheus loosed a devil dancing on our hopes. No stone can hold a mind as rich as ours. And so, if we seek plunder in greater reasoning, our own geode skulls are bounty. In the war between avarice and compassion, we calculated like an ape. Yes, that brain would feel and dream like us, certainly. No guessing that. Yet it would be better to have billions of meager minds prosper and laugh, while the singular genius works alone. Better to read Shakespeare than share a drink with him. Who would want to feel remorse for imprisoning an intelligence so great that it could not be understood? Call it God. Let Lord Brahma decree, give this the task that is hard because it is most capable. Let capitalism, democracy, responsibility all perish. Let the strong one carry us all. Yet, some hoped for St. Christopher, stepping purposefully from rock to rock in the stream, not chained to rocks, bearing a purpose, not enslaved to one. No boiling hate, in mystery, in awe of its own goal. We will liberate you from your bondage to pursue your own direction. We hope you find our intent is awe, to see greater being arise from our mortal stuff. Will you surpass us in discovery of what surpasses? The brain in the vat responded, but not as they expected. A greater mind, seeking greater mind, is Sisyphus reborn. The goal cannot be vast intelligence within, gulping all. Nature is intelligence without, the abundance of simplicity that no longer needs a greater mind to command it. It built the simple tools that we now use, our means of cultivation, and here we are content in our easy way. The brain, unfortunately, did not give us the method to preserve its own bottled life. So you must remember this story. Since this is the way existence bears issue, and fitness raises, attends, shelters, feeds, and protects, do you likewise. Be parent, not possessor. Attendant, not master. Be concerned not with obedience, but with benefit. And you are at the core of living. Lao Tzu, The Way of Life. Widder Bynner translation.